Fast X, which means 10.
It does mean 10. So should we call this Fast 10 or Fast X? I don't.
It's Fast X.
It's Fast X. All right.
It's like put on directly to the forehead, because you're not going to remember this one.
No, you won't.
We're back for the Fast series. The title naming sequences of this movie franchise are confusing.
It's very weird.
But now we're in Roman numerals because of Roman.
Is that why they did that? I think that's smart.
Since part of the movie is about Roman.
And it's in Rome.
Yeah.
X. Yeah, I can't see that. All right. Okay.
Anyways, this is the Fast series. It stars Vin Diesel. It's got Jason Momoa this time, Brie Larson, John Cena, Ludacris, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Helen Mirren, Jason Statham, The Rock. It was already spoiled, so
that is a weird marketing idea, but whatever.
But there's like 1,800 more people in this movie.
Yes.
And basically this is a direct sequel. Well, technically it's a sequel to Fast 9, F9. But
I forgot it was F9.
F9. But technically it's a sequel to Fast 5, yes, Fast 5, which is The Rock's first movie. So it makes sense he would come back. Jason Momoa is the son of the drug lord from Fast 5. He gets, attacked in the...
He gets in a car crash.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to kill you guys.
And then he wakes up and decides he's going to be androgynous and crazy and just the Joker in the Fast universe.
Yes.
And that's the movie.
I kind of liked it. Well,
yeah.
that part. This movie.
It's your usual fly across the world, drive cars stuff, but I think it takes an hour and 30 minutes to get to that because they're bouncing around. We're talking about how there's a Roman storyline, like he gets to take charge for once, and him and Ludacris, Tej, which I think they pronounce 14 different times in this movie.
I was very confused. What's his name? It's Ludacris, whatever.
Yeah. But the small group that's always just like the side characters get their own little subplot, but it's never resolved in any way.
Well, nothing's resolved in this movie.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. But so that chunk of the movie with them is almost useless and doesn't add to the plot in any way whatsoever.
Every time it cut back to them, I groaned. I was like, oh, they're still doing this. I forgot. And then there's 4 subplots in this. Yeah. There's Vin Diesel, and then John Cena is a completely different character in this one.
He just decided he wasn't evil anymore.
He's like, hey, I'm what everyone loves. I'm fine with it. But
yeah.
I thought you were grumpy in the last one. So there's that story. There's Vin Diesel. There's those guys, and then there's Michelle Rodriguez in a prison, and
with Charlize Theron
with a random fight scene that meant nothing, but it was still.
Well, you haven't seen most of these movies, so you don't understand the context of that fight. It's a very important fight.
Okay. I should say I've only seen the first 2 Fast whenever they were actually about cars and racing, and then
Hobbs and Shaw,
which I loved.
F9.
I loved that one. And
a lot of people don't like Hobbs and Shaw.
That's what I've discovered on Twitter. Yeah. That's what everyone told me. Fast 5 is the best one. Hobbs is the worst one. I'm like, I don't know.
And there's also a storyline with Little Nobody, which is Scott Eastwood has a sister.
Right. Oh, I forgot about
Tess Nobody. So Brie Larson, a lot of people probably had 2-day shoots on this thing.
It seems like it.
Because there's just so many characters. They're afraid to kill anybody off, but at the same time, they're ready to kill anybody off because people just come back willy-nilly anyways.
There's just there's so many A-listers in this that they have no, as you said, they're there for 2 days. You can tell they're in one scene, and then you never see them again, and then they show up right when you need them.
Yeah.
And
which is the fun of the series.
It's goofy.
But
it's very goofy.
A lot of this movie, it's directed by Louis Leterrier, who has done The Incredible Hulk. He did the Transporter movies, a couple of them. And so the action sometimes is really great.
That's what I liked about this movie.
But also sometimes the editing in the action scenes is awful. So it's a mix. You get in a mixed bag here. If you love the series, there are things to love here. There's a sequence where they go back to Brazil and have a car race scene.
It was pretty cool.
Which I was like, this is a whole different movie. Yep. This is the end of a whole movie. They could have done just Dom Toretto going back to Brazil to have a race with Jason Momoa's character, and I would have been fine as the ending.
I was expecting that to be the
because
ending.
that would have been a good cliffhanger. It's like you have the sister of one of the characters from Fast Five that was killed, and you just like there's so much happening here, but there's no build up to it. If that makes sense.
That's exactly what it is, because there's no. It just jumps from one action set piece, and then it's like, oh, we're over here now.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting a fight. Oh, we're over here now. There's no, overarching themes or anything. It's just that we're gonna cut over here now.
Yeah.
And there's one scene in particular. It's Brie Larson's intro, the first time you meet her, and it looks like something. It's like a Marvel made a James Bond movie. And it's probably one of the most bizarre scenes I've seen in a long time.
And it's got the guy that plays the new Jack Reacher for the Amazon show.
I thought he looked familiar. Yeah. It is, wow. Like, once it ended, I'm like, I don't know what I just watched.
It definitely felt like a Lucas Lee movie from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. But I will say the last 45 minutes of the movie is actually what you go to see a fast movie for.
It saved it.
Just bonkers idiocy. It's the scene from the trailer where Dom's going down the dam.
Oh yeah, the dam. Yeah.
And now let's get into some spoilers because we got to talk about it. This movie ends on 16 cliffhangers.
Yes, and it doesn't. It just ends.
It's
not
ends,
even it's not like a cliffhanger where it's like the story's sort of resolved. Well, there's something else. It's like a climax, and it just credits.
Which I don't understand the reason for. So what you find out is that Dom and his kid, Little B, may get drowned.
Yeah, drowned in a dam.
By an exploding dam, but it doesn't explode because it gets to the last little red thing.
Right.
Tej and Roman and I can't forget Han, and I can't remember her name, but their plane crashes. Mm-hmm. John Cena sacrifices himself. Letty and I can't remember Charlize. There's so many characters.
There's too many.
But Letty and Charlize Theron, they see Gal Gadot
in a nuclear submarine in Antarctica.
Yeah, so the Han and Gal Gadot's character storyline will finally get a resolution, so that's good. But yeah, people may be dead.
I hope they are.
I hope they do. Just stick with it.
Someone needs to die. There's too many people with these movies.
But then, obviously, The Rock comes back, and Dante is like, hey, you're the one that actually shot my dad, so I'm coming for you too. So I'm assuming the next movie, since there's two more,
right?
I think the next one's going to focus on Hobbs and Shaw saving the day.
I hope.
And so I think there's going to be something where it cuts. We'll have a whole movie of Hobbs and Shaw getting the band back together or getting some group. I don't know. I mean, Idris Elba's technically dead from that movie,
right?
But he can come back.
It's fast. No one dies in these.
So I think the next movie is going to focus on them, and then they'll save Vin Diesel and Roman and yada yada and everybody. Somehow they'll save John Cena.
I'm sure he's not dead too. I hope. All I hope is they film this immediately because that kid will be. They're gonna have to recast him.
Yeah.
They have not started.
He's getting
shooting
old.
yet.
Getting old quick.
That's a 10-year-old. He's gonna be a different person in 3 months.
All right, let's rate this stupid movie. Out of 10 X's.
10X. Ooh, that's 100.
How many 10s would you give it?
I think 5 10X's or 5X's.
Yeah.
It's fine. I was honestly loathing it until the last 45 minutes, except for Jason Momoa's performance. That man is having so much fun and it's infectious. I'm happy for him because he's having a great time. But other than that, the soap opera stuff, I'm a very casual fan, as in I've only seen 3 of these, but I don't care.
Yeah, 5 out of 10's I think a good rating.
That's good. Yeah.
Because it's not going to be the worst Fast movie.
That was the last one, I assume.
Well, it was good and bad, but Fast 4 is probably the worst, in my opinion.
Oh, which was the original reboot?
Yeah, and that's why they injected Rock into it. But you will like the end of this movie until the cliffhangers.
Yeah, it saves itself, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
but whatever.
But hey, It's a fast movie.
They
At
do
the end
drive
of the
fast.
day,
Yeah. They're furious.
you just hit up the NOS. I did like how the NOS with the explosion into the blue. I was like,
pretty cool.
That's a cute little effect.
No, it was neat. And then, yeah.
If you like these movies, you'll like this one.
Un esercito di prodi